Hi, and welcome back to another video on moving to Phoenix. Today we're talking about the top 8 suburbs in the city of Phoenix. We're going to cover Scottsdale, Queen Creek, Paradise Valley, Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, Cave Creek, and last of all, but not least, Tempe. Stay tuned in this video. Top 8 suburbs of Phoenix. You might have your list as I go through all these and you think, oh, why didn't you add this city or that city? Or I can't believe that city is on the list, that suburb. So I'll be curious on what your thoughts are as well. But with that, number 1 on my list is Cave Creek. Cave Creek is one of the smallest in population, and it's actually one of the only ones on this list that is decreasing in population over the last 10 years since the 2010 census. Cave Creek comes in at 5,015 people. That is so much smaller than Mesa that we'll cover down the road here on this video, which is in the 500,000 range. So it's very small. It has this old Western saloon type of style, wagon wheels, tumbleweed hotels. And the funny part that I noticed the most as I was going through there recently, or just it's very noticeable, is they have this wagon wheel saloon kind of downtownish area, really fun places like the Buffalo Chip and different places like that. Brings in a lot of people. You'll see all these RV type of sand duning vehicles that will be used to go across the cities, and then right next to it you'll have a BMW or a Porsche or Mercedes or so there's a lot of money in the city, but there's also this draw of the saloon and kind of this kitschiness of the downtownish area where you see all these bars. And then a lot of the advertisements you'll see too is this is a Pittsburgh Steeler bar, this is a Packer bar, this is a Chicago Bear bar. So they're really trying to cater towards some of those Midwest people that have moved down or just visiting, or that are very loyal to their football team. A little bit more on the actual homes in Cave Creek. The median price of a home in Cave Creek is $975,000, and there's a small population, so you can kind of fill in the gap that there's some really nice homes in this area. $419 per square foot. So it's a great area. It's a little bit further out, so that's one thing, that's one downfall, if you want to be closer in. But if you want to be away from everything, really see the nice scenic, and you got some of that nightlife of the saloon type of thing, and the restaurants and the bars, it's a great place to check out. So that's Cave Creek. Next up on the list we have Tempe. And when you think of Tempe, you probably think ASU, if you're familiar with the area at all, because ASU is nestled right into the city of Tempe. And Tempe is pretty large as far as square feet goes or miles go, because it's spread out just like a lot of the different suburbs on this list. It's quite large. And when you think of Tempe, there is a lot of big employers in the city of Tempe. ASU is one of them, employing a lot of different people. Express Scripts, Freedom Financial, Honeywell, Insight Direct, JP Morgan Chase, Medtronic, Northern State Trust, Salt River Project, State Farm is a big one, Wells Fargo, ZipRecruiter, all within Tempe. So you have a lot of jobs. Proximity to the airport is really not much more than 15 minutes. The Tempe Town Lake, which is a big shopping area, retail, not super far from the ASU campus. Papago Park, there's Tempe Center for the Arts. There's a lot to do. It's very central located, so it's not super far to downtown Phoenix. It's not super far to Scottsdale, the airport like I mentioned. So Tempe has a lot to offer. One of the downfalls and the upside is ASU, because sometimes the students could probably take over the city, and maybe that's not what you're looking for. But it has a lot of vibrant energy, and that's the reason it's on the list for the top cities in Phoenix. So let's take a look at the numbers for Tempe, population-wise, 180,587. And that's up 10% from 2010. And the median home price is about $459,000, and that's about $301 per square foot. So quite a bit less than the Cave Creek we just mentioned. So there's going to be a varying degree of this, as we'll see as we walk through these cities, and then I'll list a summary at the end too, so you can kind of get an idea of how each city compares to the other. Then we have Scottsdale, and Scottsdale is probably, if you think of anything Phoenix, you see any postcards, you see pretty much everything high end and golf courses and spas and resorts, all that sort of thing. High end shopping, you'll see on postcards, you'll see mentioned with Scottsdale. And Scottsdale again is very spread out. The north side of Scottsdale is the more scenic. You'll see a lot more rolling hills starting to get into the mountains and the cactus, and it's very scenic. Quite different than the southern part of Scottsdale, even though it's still super nice. It's just not that postcard that you'll see on the north side of Phoenix. 241,000, just over that, population for 2020, and it has grown just under 10% in the last 10 years. So very similar to Tempe. The median home price of Scottsdale is on the high side as well, $929, and that comes in at just under $500 per square foot. So that's even a little bit more than Cave Creek. We have Queen Creek, which is about just right around the 40-mile range, 35 to 40 miles or so from downtown Phoenix southeast. Population comes in at 59, just a little over 59,000, up 55% in the last 10 years though, or since this is measuring 2020 to 2000, or from 2010 to 2020. Median home price $644,000, and the median is just more that middle price point, $274 per square foot though, which is quite a bit less than a few of the other examples, just because of the getting more of that square feet as you get out a little bit further from the heart of the city. Queen Creek is known to see farmland, horses right next to a nice new development. You go look across the street and you have an open field and you have a bunch of horses. Queen Creek, one of the fastest growing on our list here as far as population goes in the last 10 to 12 years. It also has the Santan mountain range, which is great for hiking and biking and all that sort of thing, just on the south side of town there. Great area. You don't have to truck all the way across town to go to Camelback or to Piestewa, some of those other ones on the northern side of Phoenix. And niche.com, which I mentioned several times on my channel here, it has rated Queen Creek one of the best places to live in the US a few different times. So it's a great place to live, super great for families. If you're really deep into the entertainment side of things and you're younger and you want to go out and kind of tear up the town, it's probably not going to be Queen Creek, but it's awesome for many other things, including the family-oriented parks and that sort of thing. Next up we have Chandler, which is just right next to Gilbert and down towards the Queen Creek area. Chandler comes in at 275,000 plus on the 2020 population, and the growth is a little under 15% in the last 12 years. And some of the features of Chandler, there are a few of them since they're rated very high nationally year after year. It's very family oriented. The proximity is awesome since it's not super far out. It's still kind of close to a lot of different things in the heart of the city. There's a lot of parks. There's the downtown Chandler area, Chandler Center for the Arts. The school district is rated really high. Crime rate is always rated really low. So you have just a lot of positive pieces for Chandler. And it's, like I said, it's really close to a lot of different things. So Chandler's a great option. Next up we have Gilbert, which is right next door to Chandler and very similar to Chandler, at least in my eyes. Gilbert has the downtown Gilbert area, very similar to Chandler, has its own downtown, which is just right next door, like I said. Gilbert it's always ranked very high on the national rankings as far as schools and family oriented and the best places to live. So Gilbert has that has the Santan shopping area, which is also very popular. Population-wise, Gilbert is about 268,000 plus and growing at a rate about 22%, so pretty fast in the last dozen years. 584,900 is the median home price in Gilbert, and that's coming in at $285 a square foot, which is almost the lowest on the list, right behind Queen Creek as far as the biggest bang for your buck on the square footage. Next up we have Paradise Valley, which is a high-end suburb of Phoenix, as you'll see from the numbers on the data. But behind me is Camelback here, Camelback Mountain. So part of the draw in Paradise Valley is the mountain range, the Mummy Mountain range in Camelback, and it's just beautiful hikes. If you're doing a hike on Camelback, you want to make sure to check on the parking, because it's quite challenging. A lot of the neighbors around here don't let you park in the neighborhoods as well, and there's very limited parking as far as Echo Trail goes. So reach out to me, I'll let you know what the secrets are for that. But when you get into the top of that mountain, you can see all over the place, all of Phoenix. So it's well worth it. It's quite challenging though. But when you think of Paradise Valley, you think high-end fashion, sports cars, exotic, spas, golf courses, resorts, all of that here in Paradise Valley. And get this, $4.9 million for a median sales price of a home in Paradise Valley. That's $922 per square foot. And I think I mentioned Cave Creek as one of the only cities on the list here that the population was decreasing, but that's technically not true, because Paradise Valley has decreased by 1% over the last dozen years. But part of that's probably by design, since they don't want the growth to take off here, because then you get more traffic and all those other sort of things. And last but not least, we have Mesa, which is very spread out. It's also the largest in population on our list today, and it's one of the oldest cities in Arizona. You have spring training for the A's and the Cubs, which is a huge draw for the Cactus League for Major League Baseball. Mesa Arts Center, Superstition Mountains. It's very spread out, like I said. It's huge for retirement areas as well. A lot of different pockets for that, and you're gonna see a lot of the people from the north moving down, or snowbirds even just coming down to stay warm for the winter, which I totally understand. Population-wise for Mesa, over 500,000, coming in at 504,500, and it's a growth rate of just under 13% in the last dozen years or so. 449,000 median home price, and that comes in at $258, lowest on the list per square foot. So that's pretty good dollar or bang for your dollar on the square feet in Mesa. Just can't get enough of this area over here. Let's do a summary of today's video on the top suburbs of Phoenix. A couple different categories, starting with the biggest dollar value for your square feet. And the list of the top winners are, the square feet's going to be Mesa. And then coming in second is Queen Creek, which may be a little surprising, but there's a lot of extra square feet as you get a little further out within the Queen Creek area. Then the median price is also going to be Mesa, and then Tempe comes in a close second there. But as you can see, Mesa is going to be a great value for your dollar based on square feet and the median sales price. The fastest growing is Queen Creek at 55%, and then Gilbert and Chandler behind Queen Creek. Most scenic is up for debate, but I don't think there's much argument there. Paradise Valley, North Scottsdale, and Cave Creek could probably be thrown in there as well, because they're all pretty similar, but just beautiful scenic backdrops. And then highest on the list for exclusivity in affluent, Scottsdale or North Scottsdale, and then Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley is a no-brainer as far as the exoticness and the high end and all that sort of thing. As I mentioned, $4.9 million median sales price, so pretty crazy. But as always, make sure to comment and subscribe on the video. Reach out to me if you have any questions, even if it's parking on the, gotta be careful of this cactus. Oh, that is quite sharp. Note to self, don't touch the cactus. Reach out and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.